Welcome, everyone. Thank you for attending Webinar Wednesdays. Today we have HySecurity presenting. We're going to have Bob Vetter and John Allen presenting for us. They've been in the industry a long time. Bob's been with HySecurity as long as I can remember. But we're going to go ahead and just let them take away.
Good morning, everybody. Apologize for my lack of presence in the region for the last several months. It's been rough to travel really anywhere. I hope you remember me and what I look like. My name is Bob Vetter. I'm the Northwest Regional Sales Manager for HySecurity, and I've been with them for almost 19 years now. I've made kind of a lot of friends over the years, and Encon is a great supplier of ours, so we're glad to support them. I'm going to go ahead and jump in here. We got a lot to cover. John Allen will come in a moment. This is a slide. It says, nice to meet you. We're going to go over who we are and what we do a little bit here. So go ahead to the next slide, please. Not just a comment, but actually, literally, we do keep the lights on. This is Hoover Dam. It was a very neat project that we did through one of our installers. You see there that they used the crash barrier, that's the M30. Kind of funny story here is on one state side they use the M30, on the other state side they use the Strong Arm Park. So you just, I guess people are watching budgets in Arizona, I guess. But we like to capitalize on our ability to do very highly industrialized and crash rated projects. To keep the fans cheering as well. We have several stadiums. It's become kind of a niche for us to use our crash barriers and our slide gates to protect the athletes and, of course, control traffic. We make enjoyment without concern. This is, like I said, we've really gone into this market with a lot of success. We have a lot of stadiums that we cover, keeping fans safe. And of course, keeping your car safe. This is a peek at what you normally don't see about the company today, and may not even have had a clue as to how far-reaching the NICE company, NICE SPA and HySecurity have actually become, because we've always been domestic in our outreach and our goals. However, we're now much larger, and we're part of a much larger company. So this is a little peek at where we are, how many plants we have, and exactly who we touch. Okay, this is the new headquarters. For those of you who don't know, about 2 years ago we moved into a new facility. It's actually 65,000 square feet in total, with an option to add more. There's more to this building. I've taken the liberty of breaking this down. We have about 16,000 feet of office space use. 48,000 is what we consider mixed use, which includes 5,000 square feet of manufacturing, and the rest reserved for some other activities. We have several engineered staging areas where they work and mastermind these products in the background. Probably best known for these operators here, this is the slide driver you all know and love. Just a quick reminder, we do have models that cover anywhere from 1,500 to 20,000 pound gates. You can see the one on the right there that actually uses 4 hydraulic motors, and we're using these pretty regularly on larger gates. Again, these are not limited by length of gate. And they're very secure. If you need to know more about these, please contact me. We have also added over the last few years our complete residential line, and we have the 816, the Titan. We have what we call now the Vanguard, which is a great little underarm swinger. It does pretty good sized gates up to 1,000 pounds and 20 feet. The Titan and the 816, which you recognize, has been around for a long time, just kind of a stalwart in the industry. And we do have the 2 slide gate models as well, and we consider those residential. Just quickly touching on more of our breadth, you see we have parking, we have industrial, access control. We do wedges. We do a kind of a parking wedge where you'd see it at a rental facility. Actually, you'll see those at a lot of rental facilities. We have the M30, M50 crash barriers. One of my favorites, the swinged riser, as well as our ability to go vertical. Now the vertical lift can do spans of up to 80 feet, 2,000-pound gate. We have also recently added bollards, fixed bollards to our lineup, and we are working on active bollards as we speak. This is our new product, and this is where John's going to take over here in another slide here to go through some of the technical aspects of it. This is our new SmartCNX operator, abbreviated CNX here. Very connected. It does include our HyNet product, which John will go into a little bit more detail. Direct drive, gear train. We have an application, which we hope to show you here in a few minutes, that you can use as the installer to actually manipulate the settings and run the operator. And we have new toolless wire terminals, and we're going to take a closer look at those as well. It does have an accompanying slide brother or sister, however you want to look at that. So these are the next generation of what you guys know now as the Smart DC series. And we launched both the swing and the slide at virtually the same time. We are able to utilize the Blue Bus photo eye technology now, and also the OXI receiver technology, and that's built in, or they're modules that you can plug in as a receiver, and we also have transmitters. So that's something that we did not have before we were married with the nice corporation. John, are you ready?
I'm all set. Thank you, Bob. Right. So I'm John Allen. I'm calling in from Seattle this morning. It's nice to see you all this morning. I am the product manager for our commercial line, and very happy to be able to talk to you about this product. I'm very proud of this. It's the first full new product that NICE and HySecurity has introduced in the United States in several years, and it's a huge step forward in technology. So both the Swing SmartCNX and the SlideSmart are designed as a family, and they utilize a lot of the same components and same architecture. They have very similar chassis designs. In fact, the front cover is interchangeable. If you go back and see the front cover on the slide gate here, and the front cover on the swing gate is the same exact part. It's interchangeable. And they use the same controllers and drive modules and electronics on the inside. And we separated it out and went with a modular design. So the controller is the brain of the beast. It has all of the digital electronics, the processors, the communications are all in there. All of the sensor I/O and access control I/O goes into the controller. And down at the bottom is the drive module, and that's hidden behind that aluminum panel on the gate operator. The drive module handles all of the high power applications, high power DC applications. It has the battery charging function, the motor drive function, solar power management function. Anything that's high power and high current goes through the drive module. And then we have the expansion module, which is an accessory that adds additional sensor inputs or control inputs and relay outputs. So the brain, the SmartCNX controller, is the next generation of the Smart DC controller, and it uses a lot of the same technology. The user interface is based on the same design as the Smart DC product, so the menu structure is going to be very familiar. The choices are very familiar if you're familiar with using that product. It also uses the HY5B, which is common to all of the high security products. That's our proprietary vehicle detector. All the control inputs are on the left side there. So there's the stop, open, and close, and all those things, emergency input. There are 2 sensor inputs on the left side, and these sensor inputs are automatically configured to either 10K resistive monitoring sensors or pulse monitoring sensors. We are moving away from NC monitoring. So the Smart Touch and on the Smart Touch Smart DC product line and the hydraulic products in the past have used NC type monitoring for sensors. That's not supported in the new product line. We've gone to supporting 10K or pulse monitoring only. Down along the bottom, kind of going counterclockwise around the controller here, we have 3 programmable inputs. So these can be absolutely anything. These can be additional sensors that you put in. These can be third-party devices like loop detectors, or if you have some other kind of vehicle detector technology that you want to use, you can configure that. You can run more controls in here if you have a timer or some other user controls. These inputs can be configured to be absolutely anything. Then next to that is the Blue Bus input. This is a technology that we've introduced from the NICE group in Italy. It's a proprietary 2-wire interface to PhotoEyes, and it's incredibly easy to use. Both power and data go over the same 2 wires. It's polarity agnostic. It's incredibly easy to set up, and really, if you get 2 wires plugged in here and 2 wires plugged into the eyes, you can't go wrong. It just sets it up automatically. And then we have the primary secondary controls for dual gates and sequence gates. There's a USB port, which we use for data exchange. You can download the event log from there, or you can upload firmware from there. The event log has been updated to go, in previous generations, it was 300 entries. I think it's something like 300,000 entries right now. It's pretty much limited by the amount of memory on board. And there's enough memory on board to store a lifetime worth of data. So that's a really handy upgraded feature. There's an Ethernet port. That's for accessing the HyNet capability that's built inside, as Bob mentioned. There's a Bus T4 port, and this is another nice technology. Right now, we don't have any applications that use that, but that's there for future growth. The motor drive ports are where you connect to the drive module and the expansion module. And then we have the 3 relays. There's the solid state relays 2 and 3, and the mechanical relay, which is the relay 1. And then there's some connections for wiring on the inside of it. And then there's the Oxy receiver. Oxy is NICE's transmitter and receiver for remotes. And there's a port there where you can plug that in. And I skipped over the Bluetooth, but the Bluetooth on the controller is there specifically and solely so that we can give you a smartphone interface to the controller. The smartphone interface is not a user interface for access to a property. This is a tool for installers to set up and configure a gate. The idea is that phone is a much more robust way to interact with the gate, and there's a lot of capabilities built into our controller. It's just much easier to access it from a phone. So we have an app. The SmartCNX app is available on both Android and iPhone, and we're going to do a live demo of that at the end of this presentation. Both products ship with this PhotoEye set. This is manufactured by NICE in Italy. It's a Blue Bus PhotoEye. So this is the 2-wire interface that I spoke about earlier. It's a through beam PhotoEye. It's in a nice heavy-duty cast aluminum housing, and it's, like I said, it's impossible to wire incorrectly, and a very highly reliable product. Oh, sorry about that. Let me move on. So the operators do not ship with the Oxy receiver, but we offer a kit to add that. So this part number MX4349 is an accessory kit that you can buy that gives you, it's a starter kit for the remotes. You get 2 remotes, you get an external antenna and the Oxy receiver that you can install. A little bit of detail about the architecture and the design of the machine itself. We went with brushless DC motors, which are small, compact, lightweight, but extremely powerful motors. You get about the same amount of power output from a package, about half the size with a brushless motor. And they're incredibly quiet and efficient. And one of the things that we're able to do with this is we get really precise control of the motion of the gate by controlling the acceleration speed. And there's an encoder built into this so that it memorizes and knows not only where the limits are, but when they're approaching, so we can manage that acceleration and deceleration very carefully. And it gives us the ability to monitor the current that's being used and to adapt as the environment changes, so that we keep that threshold for the IES trip above what the power is actually required to drive a gate. So this is the SlideSmart drivetrain. You can see the motor goes into this bright blue gearbox. It's a worm gear drive directly to the output sprocket. And you can see that this aluminum plate that we put in here is specifically there to get a nice tight fit to the covers and to try to keep critters from living inside the gate operator. One of the things that I really like about this when I'm working around them is you don't have to worry about working around the machine as it's running, because there are no moving parts exposed. There's no belts or chains that you can get your fingers caught in. So I just feel much better working around it. And there's fewer components to wear, so it has a higher reliability as a result of that. And then this is the SwingSmart. You can see there's a 2-stage gear reducer here, and then the motor drive kind of down at the bottom of that frame. And you can also see the sensors for limit sensing are here on top of the gearbox. And there's this little plastic bracket here that you can move these sensors back and forth. And then right over here on this output taper clamp is a permanent magnet. So these sensor boards are solid state limit sensing. There's a little chip in there that senses the presence of the magnet and acts like a switch. So it's energized in the presence of the magnet. And the nice thing about that is that there's no cam to adjust. There's no little metal spring bracket to get bent or caught on something. There's no moving parts on this, which makes it a much more reliable solution. It's got the same type of taper clamp that the first generation SwingSmart had, but we've upgraded the design to make it easier to adjust and easier to release. And what else am I missing here? Let's go on. So this is the back side of the SlideSmart, and you can see that it uses the same limit sensor here. They're they're the exact same part. And instead of sensing a magnet on the taper clamp collar, this senses a magnet on the chain. And this is not unlike the first generation SlideSmart. That magnet is not actually a limit sensor, it's just a position marker on the gate. And once it goes by, we calibrate the distance from that magnet to the limits, the open and close limits, using the sensor output on the motor. I'm stumbling over the word now. In any case, the machine knows from that point where it sees the magnet how many cycles of the motor it is to the open limit and how many cycles it is to the close limit. And you can see that aluminum panel that I was talking about is a very nice tight fit to the cover there. So we really tried hard to make it difficult for the critters to get in there. The other thing that we've done is we've upgraded the idler pulleys, which you see here. This is something I often forget to mention, and it seems like a really small thing. The first generation product had the bronze bushings for bearings and idler pulleys. This one uses a roller element bearing. And one of the nice outcomes of that is with the low resistance of the brushless motor, the low resistance of the gear train, because it's direct drive, and the lowered resistance of the rolling elements in the idler wheels means it's much easier to back drive the gate. So that was maybe a weakness of the first generation products. When you power this thing down, it's much, much easier to move the gate. One of the questions that people ask me a lot is if it has the same mounting hole geometry. We did not go with the same mounting hole geometry because it's a much more compact footprint, and we wanted to maintain that that compatibility between the SwingSmart and SlideSmart. So it's got a revised bolt hole pattern, slightly smaller footprint here for the SwingSmart. And the arm on this is just a little bit higher. It's about 1 inch higher than the arm output on the first generation SwingSmart. Then for the SlideSmart, here's the comparison of the mounting pattern to the old first generation SlideSmart. The chain in this case is also a little bit higher by several inches. The first generation had a chain height of 7 3/4 inches off the base. The new one is almost 13 inches off the base. So we get that chain up a little bit higher. For compatibility though, if you're doing a retrofit for the first generation products, we offer this 4-inch mini riser. We designed this primarily as an easy way to bring conduits in from the side. We know a lot of times that it's not practical or possible to bring conduits up through the pad, and I've seen a lot of gate operators with big holes carved in the side of the covers to get conduits in and out. So we have this this sturdy metal base riser that you can drill and put conduit connections directly into that. It also gets the gate operator up off the grade just a little bit for drainage, and it has the bolt hole pattern on the bottom matches the first generation products. So if you're doing a retrofit and you don't want to drill new anchors, this works as an adapter plate. It's made from the same type and gauge of steel as the chassis of the gate operator, and the same protective zinc-rich primer and powder coat finish. We also offer a post-mount kit. This works for either the swing gate or the slide gate. And it just supports a variety of ways of post-mounting the operator. So if you need to get it up, and if you want it up out of the snow or up out of a drainage area, or for whatever reason, this is an incredible versatile solution for post-mounting the operator. The power is connected behind this panel, and it has the courtesy outlet on the inside. Somebody asked me once if you could have a solution for running 230 volts. It's 115 volts only on that courtesy outlet. But you can run the operator at either 115 or 230. The panel with the switches on it, behind that panel is a switching DC power supply. So rather than using a transformer or a toroid with a rectifier bridge to convert AC to DC, we have a high power switching DC power supply, which is more along the lines that you might find behind your computer. And that makes it a much lighter system and a more reliable system. If you need to switch it from 115 to 230, there's a little drain plug behind where the IO expansion module is. You pop that little rubber plug out, and there's a switch that would be on the top of the power supply that you can change from 115 to 230. So just a quick look at how you go about setting it up. This is the control panel on the SmartCNX controller. It's designed to be familiar to people who've used Smart DC or Smart Touch in the past. When you approach the machine and you hit the menu button, the menu function works as both a menu key and a back key, depending on where you are in the menu structure. But the first time you press it, it brings up this list of choices, and you can scroll through them using the previous and next buttons on the control panel. And so if I wanted to go into operator configurations at this point, I would hit the select button, and that would drill down into the next menu, which is here. And in that menu, there are options to set the use class, set the close timer, right or left-handed gate, the type of battery, and I believe there might be one or two other options under this menu. But there's a lot here. I mean, all of these menus have multiple options underneath each menu. We try to make it as intuitive as possible, but it's all there, and you can find what you need to do. And once you get into it, you'll find that it does more things than you ever thought a gate operator could do. Here's the rest of that operator configurations. So loitering alert, and you can go back and learn the limits here. If it's a slide gate, return it to factory defaults. You can even set a PIN number for the menu. So if you wanted to lock it so that people couldn't get in there and mess with the settings, you could put in your own PIN number, and then you would need that PIN number to get in to do anything on this. Before I get into the demo of the installer app, I wanted to do a quick plug here for our new support site. If you haven't been to our website recently, you need to get over to support.hysecurity.com and check it out. There's just a wealth of information here. You can get into by product category and then just pick the product that you want to look at. And then there's everything is just right here for you. And it has a really good search function. So if you want to know like how to install an HY5B or how to use an HY5B, that just comes right up, and everything about that is right there. So it's a wealth of information. It's going to be a huge time saver to you guys if you're looking for information on any of our products. So I encourage you to check that out. And having said that, I would like to do
And one thing, if I could, John, that's all public facing, so there's no longer the need to register at the website in order to get into that information, which is new for us. We made all of those manuals and technical bulletins public facing, so you guys just simply need to go to HySecurity.com and click on the support button, and you'll have all that information at your fingertips.
Okay, so this is my Google Pixel 2 Android phone. Bob, is this coming through okay?
It's coming through, yes. I can see your screen.
It doesn't.
Fine.
Ah! Hold on for a second.
You lock yourself out of your phone?
Yeah, it didn't seem, it wouldn't recognize my fingerprint. So let's go back. All right, here we go. So here's the app. And I have a little demo board set up next to me here. And the first thing that you'll need to do to use the app is to turn the Bluetooth on the controller. So to do that, you need to go into the menu settings. If you go into the menu and you scroll to the external communications, the Bluetooth functionality is under there. And you need to turn the Bluetooth on before you can connect to this. And the Bluetooth times out every day at midnight. We didn't want a security risk where anybody with this app could get into any gate. So the Bluetooth turns off at midnight. You have to go back in and turn it back on when you arrive on site. And once it's on, you can connect to it. And when you hit that connect, you'll see a list of gates that are within Bluetooth range, and you can just pick the one that you're interested in. And the first time you connect to it, it'll prompt you for a PIN. And the PIN number is, you can make it visible on the controller at that same Bluetooth options menu. There's a choice there to display the PIN. And once you've entered the PIN, your phone memorizes it associated with that operator, and you don't have to do that again. But you do have to go in and enable the Bluetooth every time. So once you're in it, you can control every single setting on the gate operator. So I'm going to go into the settings, and this is that same list that I showed you earlier from the menu. It's organized pretty much the same way. So if you were scrolling through the menu on the controller itself, these are the same options that you would find there. And we can go in and change the basic functions. Let's change the close timer because we can. I like a fast close timer. So I just set the close timer to 5 seconds. We can go into the programmable inputs, and you can see that I have sensor 1 is set up to edge close, but it's not an edge. I want it to be an I, so I'm going to change that. Here's all the options that this could be. I'm set that to be an I close. And now it's an I. And then I can go into input 1 and change that to any of these things here. I am going to set that up as a block-free exit. So if that input is active, then the free exit is disabled. We can go into the 24/7 7-day timer and set that up. So I don't know how this was set up before. Well, let's start by setting the clock, right? You need to have an accurately set clock. You can set the clock through the control panel on the controller, but it's much easier to do it here. And I'm just going to sync the clock with the clock on my phone. And now it's updated. And I'm going to clear the existing schedule so that I'm starting fresh. And then I am going to set timer 1 to be weekdays. I want it to open what? Here we go. I want to open at 6 a.m. And then I want it to stay open for 3 hours. So having just done that, we can go over and look at the gate, and it's actually opening now because it falls within the parameters that I set on the open timer. If I go to close it, it won't close because it's being blocked by the timer. So let's go back and clear the timer.
And that's a new feature for us too, John, is to have a built-in 7-day timer, something that's not in generation 1.
Now I can open and close the gate from here. Now I have my demo machine set up as a swing gate. If it were, so I can't show you what the limit sensing functions are, but if this were a slide gate, this grayed out tile here would be available, and you could go in there and actually set the open and close limits from this app on your slide gate. Then you can go into the diagnostics, and when you see this screen, it gives you just a little bit of information about the gate itself, gives you the cycle count, it tells you a little bit about how the motor is running and where the IES is setting. This one's not actually set up to, it's not driving a motor, it's driving a fake motor, and so that information here is not valid. There's some information here about the state of the batteries and the solar charging capabilities. And then you can see the event log. So it downloads the event log line by line, and you can scroll through that and see what it is. You can also filter it out so that you're looking at only the events. There are some alerts on here, but they're farther back in the event log.
So we've basically taken the start program and put it in your handheld and given you a more powerful tool to connect it to.
So you can see where I set the clock earlier today. if there are alerts and faults, you could filter it out and only look at those things. So I've lost my connection.
Bluetooth.
I'm gonna blame the Android phone for this. So this tool is available. It's free to download on both the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store, and runs on either product. We have huge plans for more things to do with these with this tool. There's so much diagnostic information that is available inside this advanced controller, and in the future we're going to develop this tool to give much better much more powerful diagnostic tools. There we go. Now we can see the faults. There's one fault on the log. I think I unplugged my sensor once, and you can see the alerts as they come in and the events. So then you can always download this log to a USB if you want. You can save it here and send it to yourself. It's a little bit slow to do that. But let's say I want 400 entries. Then as soon as it downloads 400 entries, I can email it to myself. Or email it to someone else. You can email it to our tech support group and have them look at it.
Or your friendly sales guy. So John, that's taking the last 400, right? Just to clarify, the last 400.
Yeah, this is the most recent 400 records. And you see the timestamp is kind of moving backwards here, back into the June timeframe.
You can kind of make sure that you capture what it is you're trying to identify.
Then you can send it. I want to send it to bvetter at HySecurity. There you go, Bob.
All right, now I know what you've been up to with your trainer.
Let's see what I've been up to.
Yeah, so I also have this trainer and all this capability. And again, I apologize. This year it's just been really hard on all of us as far as training and in-person training specifically. We launched in December. I had plans to travel with the trainer to come see you all, not only at Encon, but anybody else who wanted to come by and listen in a classroom setting. I'm hoping that we're getting close to that again. I know and understand this product pretty well. We have several of them out there. They're working very good. We're real proud of this new product. It is a powerful technological advancement for us as well. As you can see, we've added things that we never had before: 7-day timers, Bluetooth capability, and it's just a real knockout on the market right now. And we have several of them out there, and hopefully one day I'll be able to come by and train you guys at the Encon facility, not only for them, but for anybody who wants to come by.
So it looks like nobody really has any questions. For me, the biggest takeaways here are obviously the app. The diagnostic app is going to be amazing. I really think every installer, especially in 2020, should be out there. They should have a tablet. And as more and more of these operators are going to get this app, it's just going to make solving and figuring out what the issue is so much easier. Obviously, you can use your phone, but I still think a tablet is much easier, especially for some of the older people with bad eyesight. And then the other takeaway for me on this was the fact that you guys are actually moving from normally closed on safety devices to Pulse and 10K. That's going to be a big shift too that people are going to have to pay attention to. And of course, that mini riser, in case somebody happens to have an existing machine that they want to upgrade, that's also a good add-on there. Other than that, I think there's no questions. Once again, thank you, Bob. Thank you, John. Thank you, everybody else, for joining us. We're going to have plenty more webinar Wednesdays in the future here. So make sure you keep an eye out for our emails. Keep an eye out for anything on our website promoting the new webinars that are coming up. If you guys have any questions, feel free to call or email Encon Electronics. We'll try our best to answer those questions. And of course, if we can't get those answers for you, we'll make sure we call Bob or John and get those answers for you. All right. Thank you very much, and happy Wednesday, everybody.
Thank you all.
Bye, everybody.